What's going on? This is Will from Never Behind. I'm going to start by saying it's a shame what we allow this life to be, because this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to just be enjoying this beautiful realm and just being out in nature and just enjoying the peace, connecting with this beautiful place that we call home. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in, because we live in a world where we have to concern ourselves with fucking evil. What's going on? We have to concern ourselves with evil. And it's so incredibly unfortunate, because this is all people want to do for the most part. Even, who you want to call the masses or the NPCs, this is all they want to do. Granted, a lot of people, they don't have they haven't connected to, or they haven't rediscovered their self yet, their authentic self. So being out in nature and just being peaceful is not something that they're actually interested in. And so they need the neon lights and the Wi-Fi hum, and they need the rigged sporting events and rigged fighting events, and they need all the bread and circuses as a distraction. But even those people want to be left alone, right? They want to be left alone. For the most part, people just want to be left alone to do whatever it is that they enjoy doing. Whether it's someone with great depth that asks the questions of who am I, where am I coming from, where am I going, what is this place, whether it's that type of individual, or whether it's a surface-based, materialistic NPC, for the most part, people just want to be left alone to do whatever it is they're doing. But unfortunately, we can't fucking do that, because we have to concern ourselves with evil. And we have to get on here and we have to talk in chat rooms, we have to make videos, we have to, form protests and all the shit that people do, all in the name of trying to stop other people from invading our fucking personal space, invading our lives, trying to control us. It's ridiculous, right? The fact that this is the life that we allow, because we outnumber these people so greatly, and our realm is so beautiful and so mysterious, and in humanity, our spirit, the spark within us, is so mysterious, and our capabilities that have been taken from us, through modern medicine and through chemtrails and through the chemicals in the food, and just being in the devolution of humanity that I talk about a lot. It's just a shame that this is what it is. We have to concern ourselves. Like, I'm not on here right now. I'm not coming on here to talk about just how beautiful this park is that I just stumbled across. I knew of this park, but I've always been going to other nature areas. I've never actually driven back here, and it's unbelievable. Granted, I can hear a little bit of street noise way in the distance, which kind of defeats the purpose. I would have to go, farther up into the woods to get away from it. But I just wanted to come on here to film something real quick, to talk about how much of a shame it is that we can't just do life the way that humans are supposed to be doing life, connecting with this realm and just being peaceful. But rather, we have to concern ourselves with evil, and that's what I'm on here to talk about. Because we have two things that I wanted to go over real quick. Oh, wow. Aren't you beautiful, little guy? I don't know if you'll be able to see. Oh, he just went behind the tree. But I have two things that I want to talk about. One is what they're trying to bring in the EU, where they've already been doing this, but this is just another level of it. They want to, for every citizen, which citizen is just a euphemism for slave, but they want to go through all of your chats, your emails, your text messages, whether it's Telegram or WhatsApp or whatever it is you use. If you're in the EU, or possibly even traveling through the EU, they want to use AI to go through all of your messages to make sure that you're a good little slave, you're a good little citizen, and that you're not a danger, that you're not one of those crazy people that talk about what goes on in the world. These fucking pieces of shit, man. And so we'll see how hard that gets pushed through, I should say, to see if it actually goes through or not. That is one thing about Western Europe, that they are starting to push back quite a lot, which is good, because the violence and the invasion being done at the hands of the invaders of those countries is out of control. Thousands of rapes reported every year. And so collectively we are allowing the female youth to take the brunt of the damage. Yes, there's a loss of culture. Yes, there's a loss of nation, a loss of jobs, a loss of availability for homes, all this. But the fact that we are allowing such violence to fall on the female youth and the male youth as well, but let's be honest, it's the men from these invading cultures that are going straight for the beautiful European women. And that's what we're allowing, and it's fucking a travesty. It's a travesty that it's gotten this far, where thousands upon thousands of rapes are reported in Western Europe every year. And that's not counting the random attacks, the molestations, the grooming, the sexual abuse, the verbal abuse in public, the stalking in public that we all see videos of. We're not even talking about that, that's just never ending. We're talking about him across this little stream. Hold on a second, jump across here. We're talking about the full-on actual rapes. But anyway, they're the ones that are taking the brunt of it, and we are now at the point of allowing them to control every aspect of our lives, and that's what they're trying to push through with this whole EU chat bill or safe chat bill or whatever the fuck it's called. But that's what they're doing. All in the name of safety, of course. All in the name of safety. And that takes me to my next thing I wanted to touch on real quick. This hopefully is going to be a much shorter video, because this place is too beautiful. I want to explore it for a little while. What's Australia doing? If you're under 16, they want full access to everything about you to confirm your age, to allow you on the internet. If you're over the age of 16. If you're under the age of 16, you are no longer allowed to be on social media, because you will have to verify your age. And if you're under 16, you will not be allowed to use social media. Now on the surface, well, here, let's talk about this real quick, because I think anyone with a rational mind would agree that social media and the internet in general, having a smartphone in the hand of every human being, has been an absolute, unquestioning net negative for humanity. It's been horrible. Let me turn this down a little bit. It's been absolutely horrible. It has destroyed relationships, it has destroyed friendships, it has destroyed families, all of these things. Is this good enough? Yeah, whatever. So it's been a net negative. So on the surface, yeah, it's good. I would love for these smartphones to get just banished out of this realm completely, to restore humanity to a degree, because that has been a net negative. But that's not why they're doing it. That is absolutely not why they are doing it. They are doing it, in my opinion, there's two things. Obviously, they want the digital ID and the facial recognition and all that to prove who you are to get online. That's part of it. Obviously, it's a huge thing. That's a huge step that they need to cross in order to get where they're wanting to go. But I believe also that they need to stop the free flow of information. Because, let me see where I can cross here. I'm going to go back to the other side. Because back in the day, since time out of mind, people have shared. Oh, hold on. I'm crossing this little stream again. This loose gravel. But people have shared information orally. So wisdom was passed down from the older generations to the younger via sitting around and talking, sharing at home, sharing around a campfire, whatever it was. They shared wisdom orally. Well, that's long gone, especially in the West. That is long, long gone. And so what they do now is that we share it through the internet. I mean, much of what I've learned over the past X amount of years, decade and a half, 2 decades, has been via online, whether it's documentaries, whether it's presentations, podcasts, independent researchers online, whatever it is, it's been online. And then they recommend books, then I go buy the books, and then those authors mention authors who mention authors, and you just go down the line, right? And that's how you learn. But through TikTok, and through which a lot of the Israel issue is coming through, because this live stream genocide has gone on there, through TikTok and Instagram and Facebook groups and whatnot, people are learning the truth about what's going on in the world, what Zog is doing. How did this little country gain so much power? How does it control, not even power, it's not even some power, they control every Western government. How is that possible? How did they gain such influence in all of the media? Who's behind the degenerate pornographic push, Who's behind degenerate media? Who's behind the degenerate education system? All of this. Who's behind it? How did they get there? How did they get such influence? And so since the truth is coming out about that, these very people, such as a Larry Ellison, who is a Zionist, bought the US operations of TikTok because the information is being spread and they cannot allow the younger generations to learn the truth about who they are. They simply can't do it. Because as we know, throughout history, this group of people have been kicked out of every single country they've ever been in. That's not by happenstance. There's no coincidence there. This is because of behavior. This is because of the things that they do. Predatory banking, degeneracy that they push, because their ancient belief, their ancient vendetta that they hold, that Amalek must be destroyed, and that anyone that is not them is a soulless cattle goyim that is here to serve them. And so that is what they do. They do everything they can. I mean, look how beautiful this place is. God. And I'm sitting here talking about fucking degenerate evil when I could be just walking around sharing this beautiful park and saying, if you're ever in the area, make sure you come here because it's absolutely breathtaking. Oh, it's so beautiful. But here I am sitting around talking about fucking evil. But anyway, my take is that they can't have this information being readily shared, freely shared anymore. So they need to get the younger generations off the internet. This is in Australia, of course, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen across the board at some point, where they're going to try to get, in the name of safety, of course, because these people care so much about your safety and your family's safety. In the name of safety, they need to restrict and censor. Can we get this straight? That if a loss of freedom is the result of a law, it's not a good thing. It's not a moral thing. Because you cannot take away the freedom of one group in the name of protection and say you're doing a good thing. You can't rob person A, give it to person B, and call it a good thing. This is immoral. This is evil. And this is what these fucking people do. We need to get this straight. And anyone that says, oh, the government's there to protect you, or the government's there to put things in place to protect the children, let's remind the people with this very naive, childlike mindset that if they cared about your safety, would they not wipe out petty gangs like the Bloods and the Crips and MS-13? You don't think we could wipe these people out this realm in a fucking weekend with the technology we have, with frequency weapons, with facial recognition, with the amount of police that we have in all of these countries? We couldn't wipe out these gangs? No, we couldn't wipe out drug dealers, right? We couldn't stop the flow of drugs with all the technology we have. Safety is not a concern. Your health is not a concern. If that was the case, would they not pump clean water into your home? Could you not just walk up to your tap and drink it like we used to do as kids, where you could just walk up to the hose or to the spout connected to your house and drink the water? Obviously, you would never do that now because we know better. But if they cared about your safety and your health, would you not at least have clean water in your house? Give me a fucking break. Would the FDA and the CDC not be held accountable for all of the poisons and the carcinogens and the injections that are killing people and causing cancers and autism and myocarditis? Would these people not be held accountable? Would the FDA and the CDC and the lobbyists would they stop being a revolving door where they're just paying each other to get rich while they poison the rest of us, while they don't even take this fucking poison medicine that they push on people? Come on. Come on. Name is safety. No politician has ever cared about an individual in human history, because you don't wake up in the day and say, oh, I want to have a job where I boss other people around and I get to decide how they live their lives. That's not a healthy person. That's not a healthy psychology. Politics is the absence of healthy psychology. Point blank, period. These people do not give a fuck about you or your children. And they're going to get the youth off this horrible social media apps. They're going to be right back on it at 16. You think their minds are any more prepared at 16 than they are at 15 or 14 or 12? No, they're not. If you work with the youth, or if you observe the youth in public, you realize that a 16-year-old today has the mindset of a 7-year-old 2 decades ago. There's no difference. They still have the same childlike mindset. I see high schoolers playing with Legos. I see high schoolers playing little children's games. Just because they're drinking and smoking and doing other stupid shit that typically older kids do doesn't mean that they haven't held on to their same childlike, stunted psychology. Of course they are. Of course they have. So whenever we hear people talk about, oh, it's the name of safety, it's in the name of safety, shut that shit down. Shut that conversation down. It's not in the name of safety, it's the name of control. Everything they do is in the name of control. Man, this place is beautiful. I can't wait to explore it. This is a little trail. I'm not sure where it goes, but I'm gonna find out, I'll tell you that. I'm definitely gonna bring my hammock here as well. Because it's December 7th, and for some, well, not for some mysterious reason, because we know about chemtrails and they are blasting them like crazy today. You can't see them, but it's insane. It's December 7th and it's warm outside. No need for a heavy jacket or gloves or anything like that. And we're up in the hills, and there should be, I mean, it's just insane. It's insane what they're doing with the weather and what they can. And we see all the weather warfare around the country, around the world, with the floods and the fires and the mudslides and all the shit, right? But anyway, I don't want to talk about that stuff right now. I don't want this to be long. I just wanted to come on and talk about three things, really. How it's just such a shame. It's such a travesty that we can't just be. We can't just live. I can't, even if I wanted to hold a camera, which I really don't, I just know it's the right thing to do. Why we can't just go out and enjoy nature and live our lives and build homes for this wood that is freely available, and, you know, forage food and plant our own crops and all that stuff. Nope. Property taxes, you're taxed on literally everything multiple times. You have to pay to live, you have to pay for energy. We're not allowed to use the free etheric energy that is all around us, which is what our ancestors use, you know. And we have to concern ourselves with evil. That's the most frustrating part, is that we have to concern ourselves with evil. Imagine if we didn't have to think about politicians and bankers and think tanks and secret societies and what the fuck the Gates Foundation is up to, and what they're trying to do to the weather and what they're trying to do to this realm that's affecting people on a spiritual level, on a genomic level, on a DNA level. Imagine if we could just be, and we didn't have to, how great life would be if I didn't even know the name Klaus Schwab or Fauci or Clinton or Obama. If I didn't even know these names, because these degenerate evil fucks, or a Trump or an Epstein or whatever it is, right? If I didn't know these names, like, I don't want to know, I don't want to even have these their faces in my fucking mind. These evil pieces of shit. Like, I always wonder, like, if you want to be evil and pedophilic and satanic and degenerate, go off and do it. But that's not, they can't just do it and do it with themselves. They have to inflict their psychosis and their psychopathy and their fucking neuroses and their disgusting degenerate behavior on all of us. That's the only way they feel good. I don't think they ever feel good, but they get off on giving the rest of us their mindset. You know, Mark Passio calls it mini-me Satanism. The me lifestyle, the worshiping of man, the worshiping of materialism and comfort. Not giving a damn about the spirit or the connection to God, or the symbiotic relationship with this earth. That it's all about materialism and shiny things and what's best for me next. And that's what most people do. All day, every day, they think about themselves and their creature comforts and, you know, what they are going to do next. The world at large, humanity's loss of freedom, the destruction of Western civilization, the slow genocide of European heritage and blood and DNA. You know, we're 8% of the world's population at this point, and our countries are being invaded. The females of our countries are being raped and beaten on a regular basis, and nobody gives a fuck. You know, there's a handful of people that talk about it. In comparison, it is an absolute handful in comparison to the rest of the population of the world. You know, every other people has their own country and their own governments and their own cultures, but yet they're considered minorities when they come to the European countries, even though there's 1 billion of them in their own country. There's 1 billion of them with their own culture, but yet Western European countries and Canada and the US and Australia and Nevada, and New Zealand, we are 8% of the world population, and these people with their own countries and their own cultures and their own populations that are all ethno-nationalists, they're considered minorities in our countries. How does that make fucking sense? I mean, New Zealand and Australia taken over by the Chinese. Dearborn, Michigan's taken over by Islam, right? Seattle is 30% Asian. Toronto, Indian. I mean, it's just, and I'll end it on this because this is something, you know, the mindset I mentioned before in the previous video, the mindset of I'll be dead before it gets too bad is the most cowardly, disgusting comment anyone can make. Because that literally says, I don't give a fuck about you, your children, my grandchildren, or anything. At least I got to live a nice, comfortable life, and I'll be gone before it gets too bad. Well, like I mentioned in that, and you better bet your ass that you will suffer and you will be held accountable for that mindset and for your lack of care when you leave here. But the other one, when I used to waste my time, choose to waste my time in comment sections arguing with people, trying to, you know, give a little bit of logic and reasoning behind things, I would hear that, well, you're talking about the cities, you're talking about the urban areas, because it's not going on in my town. It's not going on in my small town. Again, same mindset. I don't care if the whole world burns down so long as it doesn't touch me. It's pathetic. And so you see these We the People bumper stickers and the 1776 bumper stickers and Don't Tread on Me bumper stickers, and it's the same mindset. That whole I'll try that in my town. Okay, well, please walk to your local 7-Eleven, walk to your local nail salon in your small town, and you tell me who's running it and who owns it. It's coming, and it is in your town. And if you think that it's going to stay on the East Coast, or if you think it's going to stay in the South, or if you think it's going to stay in the West Coast, whatever it is relative to where you are, if you think it's going to stay there and not come to you, you're out of your fucking mind. It's already there. It's already there. And to think that you're a good person because you're safe in your little small neck of the woods where you're not dealing with this lie and this propaganda and this mind control because your town's too small and rural to be of any concern yet. Yet is the key word. You're a terrible person. You're a terrible person that doesn't care about anyone but yourself, which is the definition of a Satanist. Satanism is not what Christianity says it is. Satanism is the worship of man. It's the ideology of me, 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 me. I'm good, I'm comfortable. Fuck the world. That's all it is. That's all it is. There's a little bit more to it, but that's one of the umbrella ideas of it. But anyway, that's all. I just wanted to talk about that and this whole idea of things being done in the name of safety. Here we go again, right, with the EU chat bill that they're trying to push through and the Australia social media ban. All in the name of safety, but it's all in the name of stopping information is all it is. That's all it is. Too much is getting out, and people are freaking out that the younger generations are actually learning the truth, and actually the younger generation of males are becoming more conservative in their mindset. Now, I hope to high hell that they learn the truth, that Trump is just another piece of shit puppet. He's not who he says he is. And that all of these so-called right-wing conservative people are not good people. It's not where you want to rest your hat, right? This whole idea of the left versus right is the oldest, most simplified ABC. Are you fucking kidding me that you still fall for this idea, right? You believe that the left is different than the right, or the right's different than the left, and that they actually want different things. It's unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable to me at this late in the game and with this much information readily available that people still believe that shit. But anyway, I'm gonna get off of here. I'm gonna get off. This place is too beautiful. I don't want to spend my day thinking about and talking about this stuff. I'm gonna be thinking about it later as I'm checking on news and stuff, but still, I want some peace from it right now. But as always, if you have remained human throughout the last decade, if you have remained human throughout your life, specifically in the last decade, and all of the propaganda and the mind control and the coercion and the guilt tripping and the loss of friends, families, and work and all of it, and you've remained true to yourself, to your values, and to your principles. You've remained human. I'm forever grateful for you. You will be forever in my heart for that. And even though you most likely will never meet until we're on the other side of this realm, thank you, and be very fucking proud of yourself that you have remained a authentic, spiritual, sovereign, male or female, whoever you are. Be very proud of yourself. I'm forever grateful for you, for your behavior, for your mindset, for your spirit, because in the grand numbers game of what we're dealing with, we are few and far between. And so wherever you are, thank you. I'm forever grateful for you. And I believe that's a huge part of remaining calm in these times and is showing gratitude, not just toward those that care now, but I talk to my ancestors every morning. I have a little, what I call like a gratitude talk that I do in the morning. And I'm always mentioning my Celtic roots and my recent deceased ancestors to my distant ancestors, and then, to God and to Mother Earth and all of it, right? Just being grateful. That's part of being a man. That's part of being a woman, is showing gratitude. And so just know that I'm forever grateful for you, and that I hope wherever you are, you're taking care of yourself, and that life is as enjoyable as it could be in these times. But until next time, as always, never behind.